Hey everyone, today I'm not making a new project, but fixing an old one. Maybe fixing isn't the right word, but I changed my flower fairy a bit. And she isn't even that old either. I made her last December. She was my very first Monster High doll ever after customization, to be precise. I wanted my fairy removed from the flower so I could work on her and maybe figure out how she would have to pose. But I didn't dare remove her. I was afraid of damaging the flower, and I was very proud of my first clay flower, so I left her sitting there. Hopefully I will get it done like this. Although I loved her hair color and I really loved her dress, the latter was not very visible, and I wanted to do something about that for a long time. And I didn't like the blue flowers that much, so they had to go first. I secured the flower stem and some details with Superglue. All felt a bit wobbly. When I started to sand her upper body, I wanted her hair out of the way, and heck, her wings needed to go. I didn't like them. I guess my first wings were inspired by Chameleon Studio. I will put the link above. But my execution of them was not that pretty. The big wings I threw away, but the little ones I could use, I thought. They just needed some fine-tuning. After I sanded them, I put a thin coat of UV resin on the wings so they would shine again. So I started the sanding with her hair safe under some foil. Those pins were tough to get in her head. I can't remember, but probably I shrunk her head. And man, how I hate her face. Not only to work on because it was tough as a rock, but I also don't like the shape of it at all. But it was my first big head doll, so yeah. And there you go, the first pins were starting to fall out. And then what to do with her arms and hands. I had to think about it for a while and try some poses. My first thought was to give her a wand or something, so I searched for a hand that could grip anything, and I found one in my stock box, the last one I have. So I switched them, and I cut her index finger so the grip was a bit better. I also couldn't remember whether I used air dry clay or epoxy putty, so I tried a knife first, but it was hard, so I used my Dremel instead. And as always, trying some poses. I was already afraid of it, but it was actually inevitable to remove her shoulders as well. It was hard to drill holes in all the limbs, so I glued her arms back on with the cotton ball technique from Mojian Wong. I tried to apply in a previous project. I will put the link above. And at this point I decided to change the hand for the original one again. Holding something didn't seem so fun in this case. And yeah, I was picking this side for nothing. I had to sew it anyway. Very carefully. And when all was glued in place, the right shoulder was too far out. Did I feel like fixing that again? No, I'm too lazy again. Well, actually, I'm chronically tired, and I guess sometimes that kicks in, and I don't feel like fixing it anymore. Afterwards, I regret it many times. I tried to smooth all the joints with my porcelain clay. It's cheaper than the putty, but in hindsight, it's not that great of a result either. For some projects, the homemade clay is very nice to work with. Like, for instance, you can make nice flowers or trees. But for this smoothing of limbs, I find it not very suitable. But I have to be sparsome with my more expensive materials, so I always try this first. Okay, do I keep the pink or do I do another color? I thought it was too much, a pink flower and bright pink hair. So I tried some blonde. Maybe some flowers in her hair would stand out more. We will see. The pink had to go. And as I was warming the glue on her hair and peeling it off, her head got off. Well, that's a bit easier to work with. Like this. The focus is on the wrong project. I'm sanding everything here, trying to make the shoulder a bit smaller. I kept coming back to it, over and over. When the porcelain clay is fully dried, it's as hard as a rock, and I use different types of sanding tools, but it was tough. I also sanded everything else, tried to give her some collarbones again. And here goes her face. Luckily the resin came off easily. The rest came off with acetone, of course. This time I use a better quality acrylic paint and it shows. The body I also painted. I mixed the skin color myself, some white, yellow, red and a pinch of blue. Begin with the white and slowly add the other colors. She turned out a bit pale, but some body blushing will fix that later. I protected the flower with some baking paper. I gave her 3 coats of paint and in between a bit of sanding here and there. Focus, focus. I had some flowers from another project and I tried to make something out of them. I didn't feel like making new ones these days. But I'm not happy with these. I'm not sure I will use them. Face-up time. This flower fairy I wanted more in her natural tones, the greens and the yellows. So I used those colors on her face. Same as always, I use soft pastels from Faber-Castell and watercolor pencils from Stabilo and Derwent. And oh, I did mention already, I hate this face. And also, the pencils didn't stick at all. And this time I also didn't want to be defeated. So a bunch of more layers of MSC. Pencils were sharpened as they kept breaking. Her mouth looks like a clown now. But in the end, I got something. I only did the lower lashes with pencils. She's getting the upper later. Oh, and I decided on her hair color. Blonde it is. Very zoetjes, we say in the Netherlands. That means sweet. Her body got a last layer of paint, some touch-ups here and there. Some touch-ups on her dress. I made curls in pieces of hair. Combing it will not work on this type. I didn't know what it was exactly. I tried a flame test, but it was inconclusive. No plastics though, but very short fibers. Combing it will totally ruin the curls, so I tried carefully to make the curls a bit natural. It didn't work well, so I had to do with what I had. Before I glued it on, I put a few drops of resin on her eyes, so they would look a bit round, bulky, and a thin layer on her lips. Before I gave her her hair, I put her head back on. I glued the hair with bookbinder's glue. Some pieces were not curled properly, so I had to try again. The rest of the curls already got a trim. I wanted her back to be free of the hair, so her wings get the space to function. The front of her hair I left a bit longer. And everything got a spray of ordinary hairspray, protecting her face, body and the flower. And she needed her wings back. I wanted to use the old little ones, but then I remembered the ones were given to me by a dear friend. Yeah, the same one as always. She had some real wings from a creature, an animal. She didn't remember what kind anymore. And when I got them, I covered them in resin and some glitter immediately. I was so afraid they would break in my stock box. All my life I have trouble making decisions about anything. But I'm learning lately to tie the knot. So she's going to get brand new wings. I put them on with resin. I thought that would look the cleanest, and it worked. I put some little flowers in her hair, but there was still something missing, some color. and I didn't like the flowers I had, and I still didn't want to make any. Then I remembered I had a bunch of butterflies somewhere. I had those on my wall ages ago, and they fell off one by one, but I never did anything else with them. Maybe this fairy really needed some butterflies, right? Yeah, no flower. Butterflies it is. I pimped them with resin, Micapowder and Rhinestones. The wings got a bit whimsical because of the resin, but I liked that part. And I gave them some legs made from black wire. But oh my god, I wasn't happy at all, at least not for this project. It was too shiny. At least this colorful one is. The two blue ones I liked enough. So what to do? I will end with the beauty shots and I will decide in my own time whether I put the butterfly in her hair. And I thought it would be an easy and fast redo, this flower fairy, but it became a full-size video anyway. What do you think about her now? Did you like her in the first place, or is it a good thing I made her over? Anyway, I'm overall pleased with her. I like it very much if you leave your comments below and maybe hit the like button and subscribe to my channel as well. See you at my next project.